According to Jonty Sacks, who's the director of Jaltech, it would be a mistake for South African taxpayers who are making investments into South Africa not to consider structuring their investments through a Section 12J venture capital company, as they are significantly incentivized with rebates of up to 45% for individuals, funds and trusts, and 28% for companies. Jonty Sacks joins me now for more. Jonty, thanks so much for your time. So this is a nice follow-up conversation for our viewers. We didn't really get into the meat of structuring their investments in these Section J12 companies. So perhaps let's kick off with there, but focus on the individuals. So individuals that want to take advantage of this, how do they go about doing it?
Fifi, absolutely. I think there's an enormous opportunity for South African individuals, for companies to make use of Section 12J. And unfortunately, fortunately, the market is really starting to understand Section 12J, seeing how it works. And really what it is it's an opportunity for an investor to, instead of structuring the investment directly, they can structure it through a Section 12J company and get a huge tax rebate. You know, for an individual, 45% is a big chunk.
And just to find Section 12J company for us there again?
It's a venture capital company formed in terms of Section 12J of the Companies of the Income Tax Act, and it's registered with SARS and the FSB. Okay,
and it does what? I mean, what's the incentive?
So really what the vehicle is, it's an investment holding company.
Right.
But what the market is starting to realize that it can be used for multiple investors, and I'll give you a great case study where we're seeing huge opportunities in the franchise sector, where a franchisee is looking to open up a franchise, you know, whether it be a Spur, an Ocean Basket, etc. Instead of investing directly into the franchisee, they can invest into a Section 12J VCC. The VCC then capitalizes a company, and that company acquires the franchise. Now, if you look at it from an investor perspective, instead of putting the full, let's say, use R1 million as an example, instead of putting the full R1 million into the franchise, they can go into the venture capital company, get a huge tax rebate, 45%, and then that money will be used to really fund their new venture. They'll go and work in that venture. Their tax rebate, the tax deduction that they're going to be receiving can be offset from their income. That's one example where we've seen in the industry that it's really taken off. If you look at in the corporates, for corporates, there's a huge opportunity in the asset rental market. You've got big construction companies spending 200 million rand every year on CapEx. They could really channel that CapEx into a VCC, which could then invest into a vehicle and acquire yellow equipment, car rental, any movable asset. And the opportunity for South Africans is here. You've got a new asset class, you've got companies that are growing, they can now buy more assets and they can start new businesses, make more profits, employ more people, and really achieve what SARS had set out from the get-go.
Right, so SARS is not getting their revenue, but they're getting it in another avenue, given that this money is going into the economy, and as you said, rightly said, eventually with the prospects of creating jobs and workers who can pay SARS. But I know that there's a lot of limitations in which sectors you can go into. Absolutely. And which sectors you can't go into. So tell us about that.
Sure. You know, SARS has been very kind. They've only indicated the sectors you can't go into. So you could really invest into any sector except the following. So property, unless it's in the hospitality sector. A great example, Westbrook, they're the gold standard. They've raised half the cash in Section 12J, around just under R1 billion of 1.8 billion rand. Other sectors you can't invest into is professional services. You can't invest into a law firm or an auditing firm. You can't invest in the financial services sector like banking, insurance. And then the sin industry, so tobacco, liquor, gambling, and then the final one is arms and ammunition. So any other sector, and we've seen huge uptake in hospitality, the Lucid Fund by Gideon Novik, former CEO of Kulula, Westbrook, who've done exceptionally well. Movable assets is a huge sector. The franchises have really picked up. And then we're just waiting for the mining sector to really kick off.
But that mining sector, I see that you have done some work with Stefanuti's Empowerment Fund. Explain that to us.
Yeah, so about 18 months ago, Stefanuti approached us. They have a huge pipeline of junior miners who need funding, and they approached us for a solution. And we presented Section 12J, and we during February last year launched at the Mining Indaba the first junior mining Section 12J company called the JSS Empowerment Mining. And really the focus is really pure venture capital. We're investing in junior miners in South Africa that need the cash, and we backed, or we have partners like Stefanuti who are the leaders in the mining sector. And yeah, that fund was launched in February. we'll soon be announcing that half the fund has been acquired by a large asset manager, empowered asset manager, which will just give the sector a boost. And that's something very exciting for 2018.
I mean, Jonty, you've explained in terms of how, businesses can benefit from this, also individuals, but what's the outlook for Section J12 companies for 2018, especially as everybody's speaking about CR17 and how that magic has boosted sentiment towards South Africa's economy rather, but what's the outlook for Section J12 companies and also returns that particularly individuals can expect?
Yeah, so the outlook is extremely positive. In the last 8 months, we've seen a number, just in the last year, we've seen a number of amendments that SARS has made, really favouring investors. Now, previously there were caps on how much you could invest, now it's unlimited. And we've seen in the last 8 months a huge amount of cash that has been raised in Section 12J. So we see investors are understanding Section 12J and are investing into them. And we're guessing by the end of February this year, the number should be close to 2.5, maybe even 3 billion rand of Section 12J investments. So a very exciting sector is growing really rapidly, and we hope it'll continue, and we also hope that SARS will continue to make these favourable amendments. So the outlook is extremely positive. For investors, in terms of returns, it all depends on the asset class that you like. I understand, again, using Westbrook as an example, they target returns of around 11%, which is, it's a really good investment, especially where it's asset-backed. Yeah, no, for sure. But obviously this is part of a diversified portfolio, so you shouldn't be putting all your eggs in this basket. Well, it definitely should be. We encourage individuals not to invest all their money into Section 12J, particularly because the current legislation is unclear as to whether an individual can carry their assessed loss. A company can. They can continue to enjoy the assessed loss for years to come, but as an individual, it's pretty unclear. So we would say limit it to a little bit less than the tax that you're looking to pay, and enjoy the tax deduction. SARS is paying for your investment.